Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lad on C++ programming. So in this tutorial we're going to learn how to pass a structure variable and the address of a structure variable to a function. We're going to learn both things in this one tutorial. So let's begin. So here, just for the demonstration purpose, let's define a structure struct and let's call it as student. And as a parameters to this structure, we're gonna have int roll number, char 6, and let's say int age. Okay, now we have a structure called student, which contains 3 members. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna build 2 functions, and one function is going to take a structure variable as a parameter, another one is going to take address of a structure variable as the parameter. So first we're going to build the function which is going to take the structure variable as the parameter, and also make a note that we are defining the structure outside all the functions, and because of that we can access the structure student throughout our program, or in all the functions that we write. So here our function is going to be void, and I'm going to call it as display, and I told that this display function is going to take the structure variable as the argument. So it's going to be student and then a variable name, let's say yes, and I'm just gonna print out the value received to this variable s. So I'm gonna use cout, and it's gonna be yes dot roll number, and end this line, and I'm gonna copy this and paste it 2 more times, and we're gonna change this one to sex and age. Alright, now we have written a function which is going to take the structure variable as the parameter, and it's going to print out the value received to that structure variable. So first we're going to do the function prototyping, otherwise we may forget that. So I'm going to copy this one and paste it here above, and add a semicolon. Okay, the next thing is we're going to build another function which is going to take the address of a structure variable. So our function is going to be void, and let me call this function as show, and this function is going to take the address of a structure variable. So it's going to be student, and we need a pointer since we are receiving the address, and it's going to be star yes, and in this show function we're going to print out the value received through this address. So for that I'm gonna copy this cout all 3 and paste it here, and we're gonna change this dot operator to arrow operator, because if you are accessing the members of a structure variable using a pointer, then you guys need to use the arrow operator. Alright, now we have 2 functions. One is gonna take the structure variable as a parameter, and another one is gonna take the address of a structure variable. Okay, we need to do the function prototyping for this show function. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it after this display, and a semicolon. So now we have 2 functions. Then we're going to create the variables in our main function. So it's going to be the user defined data type student, and then the variable name, let's call it as Anil, and we can initialize that right here. So it's going to be in between the curly braces, and first member is going to be roll number, let's say 1 2 3 4, and then the sex separated by comma m, and then again comma, and the age 24. Alright, now we have a structure variable Anil. The next thing is we're gonna call the display function, and we're gonna pass this structure variable Anil to it. So I'm gonna call it, so it's gonna be display, and we need to pass the variable Anil, and then we're gonna call our show function, and we need to pass the address of this structure variable Anil. So it's gonna be show and I'm gonna pass address, so it's gonna be and or the ampersand Anil. Alright, now I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna build and run this. Okay, we have the error, so I'm gonna open up the logs. Error, student was not declared in this scope. Alright, that's because we have this structure student definition after this function prototyping, and we are referring to that structure student here. And this structure student is not available here. That's why what we need to do is we need to cut this structure student definition and we need to place it before the function prototyping. And I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna close this error logs, and also I'm gonna build and run this. So now you guys can see 1 2 3 4 m24, that's from this display function, and then 1 2 3 4 m and 24, that is from the show function. So the next thing that I want you guys to teach is, so when you pass the variable to a function, not the address, only the variable, if you change the values in that function, that change will not be reflected in this main function. Or in other words, if I change the value of this variable yes in this display function, then the value of this Anil variable will not be changed. To demonstrate that, I'm gonna change the value of yes dot, let's say roll number equal to a value of 0000. If you change this here in this display function, and then that change will not be reflected to this variable Anil. That's because we are passing this variable Anil by value, or we are just copying the value of this variable Anil to this function. And to demonstrate that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this, and before that we're gonna add a new line here, just to make it pretty, and build and run this. So now you guys can see 1 2 3 4 m24, 1 2 3 4 m24. The value is not changed. And if you change the value of this structure variable yes in this show function, then that change will be reflected. To demonstrate that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the value. So I'm gonna copy this yes.roll number and paste it here in this show function, and also we need to refer using the arrow operator. And here in our main function, we're gonna call this show function first, and then we're gonna call the display function, just interchanging them. So now what happens is, first we are gonna call the show function, and at that time we are printing the values of the variable Anil using this address, and also we are changing the value, and then we are displaying the values using the display function. So I'm gonna save it, build and run this. So now you guys can see the show function displays the values 1 2 3 4 m and 24, and when we change the value using a pointer, that change will be reflected to the original variable. That's why the value of this variable Anil is changed, and when we print that using the display function, we are getting a value of 0. So this is it, guys. This is about passing the value of a structure variable and also the address of a structure variable to a function. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/learninglad, and if you guys have any doubt, don't hesitate to ask us, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.